Hey, welcome to Transparent Conversations, Elevated Exchanges. This your boy CPJR or Calvin, if you know me. Welcome back to my little podcast here. Today is Saturday afternoon, and I missed last night's Friday Night Live due to me just being tired and out of it. Just doing the interviews and going through life and witnessing everything that's happening in this glorious, great country. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. It's very frustrating and exhausting um, to see what's happening. And my heart goes out to that young man in El Salvador. I don't know why he's there or why they don't feel the need to get an innocent man back. It's just evil and cruel to see that happening and very scary. Because they talking about taking citizens and sending them to other countries, and if they do it, will the Supreme Court make them get us back? Basically, it's just really scary. And I know that some people are like, oh yeah, charge, go for it. Oh, it's also very very interesting to see people that you knew on let me like LinkedIn or something like that. They support this. It's like, wow, I didn't know that. About you, but now I do. So yeah, it's been exhausting. So I did miss my live last night, but I'm here today. This is episode number 3 dot 16. That's episode 3, 16 days. If you know, you know. And this is going to be on the conversation is going to be on plant medicines and recovery. I'm also going to talk about some interesting current event, something that just happened last night, a big interview that came out, and it's all the buzz in the E&M community. I know you probably know Neo had an interview with Angie Martinez and spilled the tea, as somebody says. He let us know what his he called the polyamory, but we'll talk about it. So I wanted to go ahead and do my check-in right quick, let you know how it's going. Check in. So yeah, everything's going good. Like I said, I'm going through a background check for a position in a government contractor. I'm not gonna say who it is, but it's out in Virginia. The position that I wanted to get in DC didn't come through. It was with a media broadcast company, conservative, who just did an IPO. So if you know politics, you know who that is. And it would have been interesting working for them because I'm not conservative. But IT is not political. IT positions are about helping people and getting things done. So, helping people get things done through technology. I don't care if you're conservative. I actually interviewed at the Heritage Foundation a while back. Didn't get that either. But they did call me in for an interview. So I'm glad I didn't get that. And I can't say that I'm glad that I didn't get this job. It's with Newsmax. Get this job with Newsmax. They said they went with somebody who had. They said I was a top candidate, but they went with somebody who has experience in working in media and broadcasting companies. You know what I'm saying? So I never tell nobody about my podcast because it's just too controversial. I used to hide my podcast when I needed to search for a new job. I would actually hide all my content, my social media feeds, everything away from. Because I know like some people do searches, and if you search mine. Social media contacts, I might not be let back in the country because I'm a liberal. I'm a progressive. I do believe in the rule of law, unlike the current administration, and I just talk about. It comes out of me. I have to talk about everything that I go through and everything that I do. So yeah, so that means I'm okay. I did have one other thing I want to talk about. Interesting incident on Facebook. You know how Facebook you get old people from maybe high school, college, finding you again, reconnecting. I did meet somebody did reconnect with me from high school. Actually, this was my first girlfriend, about 15, 16 years old, first girlfriend when I was driving. She was very special to me, but 15, 16, I already said I didn't really believe in monogamy. And I wasn't always I don't know. I didn't tell anybody that. I didn't know what that was, what that meant. Like I'm not really into monogamy. I only got words to express, how I felt about monogamy later on. Right? Is everything recording? Yes. Later on in my life. So it was like at the beginning, I was just like, that was my last girlfriend too. Not my last girlfriend ever. My last girlfriend in high school. Um, after that connection or that relationship, I just didn't want to do that anymore because I'm like I don't understand being a girlfriend or having have that type of relationship, boyfriend girlfriend in high school because you're not gonna be there. You're both young, 15, 16, 17 years old. I'm not gonna be serious about that. Plus, at the time, due to nepotism, I was working at a Hex in a very nice position, and I was working and going to school, and who knows what else I was doing. So really, I mean, I was at high school, up in Mountain Heights, so I'm meeting a lot of people. So I'm not really in the instance of I'm gonna be with you forever, because that's basically what they were doing. And then people would be together, but don't like each other, and they be fighting and um, fighting other. They get caught cheating, all that type of stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing none of that. So I dis and okay. So I think I didn't give her enough closure on it because she brought it up under the post about on a post about Kimberly, um, about the manipulation and what is it? Boundaries and manipulation. So she brought it up under there. She was talking about how she could see how I was always like this. It makes sense that I was a swinger, as I was a player, Poaya, in in high school. I mean, in school, I'm like, I wasn't a player, was I? I felt offended because I'm like, I wasn't a player. But then I look back at it, I wasn't, I didn't really wasn't into that whole like we gonna be, be that whole love sick type of boyfriend girlfriend never be separated. That wasn't gonna be me, and I think that's what actually kind of broke us up because at the time when I started driving at 16, you're hanging out with your fellas and y'all getting into stuff and going out doing whatever. So I think my buddy Sean had met a young lady and she had a sister and da 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 da, bada bing, bada boom. It happened. So I don't. But now I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure why she wasn't there too. Because I definitely told her that we were going out. So I don't know what happened. So the whole thing just blew up in my face. And I don't think she brought all that up. She mentioned the girl's name and everything because they met at a party. I knew. That's why I know I was driving because I was at her house. There was a party down the way. She wanted to go to the party. I'm able to give her every excuse not to go to the party because they had the party. The other girl at the party, and my people were at the party. So eventually I said, "Fuck it, let's go." So we go, and I'll never forget them two just got together, made a beeline, and they take it. Next thing you know, it's all over. So I do apologize for that. I didn't know that. I didn't know what happened back then. I just know we broke up after that. But I don't really think that we were. I think it was actually playing. The time was actually winding out, and I tried to. And I guess she needed closure. I don't think she ever got closure from it, but I would say you're responsible for your own closure. But I hope that because I tried to reach out to her and apologize and explain because it was a long time ago, right? And but I guess that won't happen. But then I'm thinking about more and more of it. I'm like, God damn, I was caught like that a couple times, a few times. And that like I said, I know I wasn't shit back then. You know what I'm saying? I was doing kind of. I don't know if I was doing like regular shit, but I wasn't really telling people that we were that I wasn't really telling people that you were my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't move like that. I just let things go as they go. Let things go as they go, and we'll see as they flow. We'll see what happens. And basically, I think I hurt a lot of people. I apologize. I really do. It wasn't out of malice. It wasn't out of anything. It was just me being a young dumb kid, trying to figure some shit out. And I don't know how really faithful you could be at 15, 16. I know some people do. My parents met in high school, so I guess some people can be, but I wasn't. I wasn't one of them. that would be, and I just stopped doing the whole like weird boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm like, meet you, we hanging out, we hanging out. That's it. That's it. That's all we gonna do. We can't get married. We're kids. Kids don't get married. So that's the check in. Just doing. That's a lot of emotional baggage I'm dealing with, and just dealing with this whole thing in the country. It's not. It's not. It's just not fair. It's not right. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going to happen with the country. I'm about to jump on a government contract. I don't know how long that's going to last. They might just come in and get rid of the whole department, or the whole what do they call those things? Anyway, the whole government agency that I've been working for, they might just get rid of it, and next thing you know, I'm back in this situation. At first, I was getting, like when I first started in February, I was looking for jobs. I was getting contacts from government about government contracts to jump on. I was turning them down. I was just like, I don't want to work for the government right now because it's kind of weird. It's kind of tight and weird. But I think this agency is important enough that it may not receive. I'm not sure who's under. That it may not receive cuts, but we'll see. We'll see. I do support the mission of the government and the mission that they're doing. It's very important that I work at a company that I support the mission and the reason for them being there. But then I was just going to work for you, Newsmax. So maybe I'm full of shit. Did I not? Oh, maybe I cursed within 3 minutes. No, 11 minutes. We're good. So let me say this also. Let me say this. If you are watching this and you want to help me get this message out, whatever the message is, please like. Talk about something that just hit the waves, and it's been posted on like every E&M group on Facebook that I know. Basically, it's the Neo interview, right? I'm gonna play a clip. So basically, it's the Neo interview where he's talking about the 4 young ladies that he has, what he's doing. He specifically called it polyamory. He called it polyamory. That's what he called it. I'm gonna tell you what it really is. So I'm gonna play the clip. Then after the clip, we're gonna come back and talk about it. And this is gonna be some current event news. I got some other current event stuff I want to reach out and talk about, but I think I'm gonna stay with this one. I'm not sure this will be a long interview because, like I said, I'm still not up to 100%. My energy is low. It's just like I'm really, I'm sitting here worrying about this stuff that's happening in the country right now. It doesn't seem like my country. It seems like it would have been a good year. Everybody's gonna go outside, have a grand time. Like I said, do you think the black podcasts are getting paid not to say anything about what's happening? Is that what you think? Cause I swear to God, if you look, like I said before, if you look at just the big podcasts in our spaces, the hip hop podcast, the Black Commentary podcast, the Black Lives podcast, there's nothing going on but the next turn up. So I think this is kind of strange. I'm like, there aren't, and these are serious problems. The problems that we're having right now are serious. This is reshaping our country, reshaping our economy, and it's very dangerous. People are disappearing. We don't know who. The young man they're trying to bring back, I'm starting to feel like he's not alive anymore because they won't bring him back, and they're just defying the court order. So I really don't know what is going on, and I'm not sure if this young man will come back because I know they don't want him to talk about his experience. So if he even come back to the country, I don't think they'll let him out of jail. He didn't do nothing wrong. He shouldn't even be in jail. And that's the scary part, that we are a country now that will put people away without habeas corpus and lock them up for no crime. And then once they mess up, they'll just stick to it. I have never seen such evil. Than what we're experiencing now. Because I don't live in a communist country. I don't live in an authoritarian country. So that's what I'm saying. We have evil in this country, but I have never seen such evil where the current government will send somebody away by accident and not care to get them back. And they shouldn't be. And the person wholeheartedly, 100% should not be in prison. I don't even us. I remember the extraordinary rendition after the 9/11. They were moving people around the black sites. That was war. That was wrong. Abu Ghraib, that was wrong. That was war, though. It was it wasn't understandable. If somebody's pushed to a point where they where they want to fix something or get something straight, I can see that. I can see where people may go really far because after the bombings, everything was scary, and so I don't forgive any of that. That was wrong. Waterboarding, all that stuff was wrong. Torture was wrong. But I understand it a little bit more because we were under war. We're not under war right now. They want to call this an invasion, but they're not getting the numbers. Here's the thing about it. They screamed and screamed and screamed and screamed about it. When they start rounding people up, the numbers aren't there. The mass deportation numbers don't support. The numbers that they're coming up with doesn't support with the emergency that they were calling it. They say they're trying to clean the streets and prevent crime. I have never been affected by with any crime. I've been dealing with people that live here, legally born here, citizens. Never have had an incident with someone who would even be considered an illegal alien or cross the border without proper authorization. So this is all like a and I'm not gonna name names, but who this is coming from. You know what I'm saying? There's a xenophobic little dude up there, and he's driving this thing. So I'm not like pro open borders. I'm pro. We need people in this country. That's how this country grows. It grows by people coming into the country. If you really, to my opinion, if you really want to deal with the immigration situation, you would start talking to those countries where those people are coming from and seeing why they're leaving their countries. Maybe we could help them not want to leave their country and come up here. Also, obviously, those people are good ass workers. I see, like Kimberly just did when she redid her condo. It was a guy from definitely from South America. He was bonded. I know he was here legally. I don't know about his workers. He was here legally because he was bonded because he made a mistake and had to pay for a mistake, and definitely paid the check. Everything was perfect. The work was perfect. His follow through was perfect. He fixed mistakes that he had. That man was spectacular, him and his crew. So I don't see, and you might say that I don't want to see what they see, but I'm going by, okay. So I'm going by my experience. That's what I go by. I go by my experiences. I've never had a problem dealing with anybody from South America at all. None. I've had problems with people in this country, and you know who they are. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and play this clip from Neo. We're going to talk about it afterwards, and I'm going to give you my opinion on what he said is polyamory. All right? And I'm going to read my of course I commented on it. I'm really no holds barred on my comments about things like this. And people I don't really pay attention to what they call polyamory in the mainstream. Those sister wife shows, all that stuff. I don't pay attention to any of that because it's not true. Right? Anybody who's in polyamory look at that stuff and be like, "That's not real. That's not true. That's not what we do. It's not what is or it's very sensationalized." Right? Let me tell you what polyamory is. It's a lot of talking. It's just a lot of talking, a lot of sharing, a lot of open communication, a lot of appeasing hurt feelings, a lot of apologizing when you went too far, a lot of enforcing your boundaries. A lot of learning your boundaries, a lot of emotional intelligence. But you think it's about threesomes all the time or all that stuff. It's not. It's just not. You actually, but the more you get into it and the deeper you go into it, probably less sex you probably will have if you're doing it right. It's not about sex. It's about the relationships. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Here's Neo with Angie Martinez. They just had an interview and I'm going to pick out the section. I'm playing the section that everyone's playing, right? When he addresses the big question. The big question is, can they date outside of the relationship, right? Because is himself with 4 women. He has 4 women. I don't know if they live together, but they've been seen together. There's pictures of them on the internet. So, and only thing I know is what they show on the internet. I really don't know anything other than that. So here we go.
Women into doing something they don't want to do. Everyone that is here by choice.
These are grown women.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
they made the decision. The question I get asked the most is, are they allowed to date outside of me?
Oh.
That's the question I get all the damn time, and I'm answering right now. No. And I'm going to tell you why. No, they are not. Here's the thing. When I got with these women, I did not ask for their exclusivity. I did not demand their exclusivity. They offered it. They said, they came to me and said, I want to be exclusive to you and just you. I said, you understand that your exclusivity to me does not mean my exclusivity to you.
Wow.
You understand this? Yes. You're okay with this? Yes. Okay, cool. Since you are offering your exclusivity and I'm taking it, now there's rules that I need you to follow. But at the same time, I don't do ownership. Like I'd be a fool to feel like I'm the only person that anybody will ever be attracted to, anybody will ever want to see. I know that. So should that situation ever come up, nothing is above a conversation. However, in that I'm the head of this household, what I say goes. So if I say no, it's a no, and you just got to let that be a no.
Or the door is over there.
Or the door's over there.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you this.
Go for it.
So you're saying they got to have their own jobs and their own stuff and be able to hold things down.
Yes.
They can't see nobody else, but you could go outside the four or you can't.
I can, but I'm good.
But it has to be clear.
Everything
You
in
can't
the
jump out
open.
the four.
There is no just random hookups here and there. No, everything is talked about. Everything is discussed.
What is it about you? What are you delivering? What are you offering that has made these four women, it's four? It's four.
Four. Mm-hmm.
That has made these four women say, no doubt I'm in.
Might be a better question for them, but
if you had to guess.
If I had to guess,
yes.
Honesty, security. I've always felt like a woman will submit when you give her something worthy of her submission. And in a lot of cases, men get caught up on a lot of stupid stuff that makes them unworthy of submission. Like you cannot force a woman to submit. It has to be her choice. You can, and I feel like when you give a woman security, when you show her that she's in a safe space with you, physically as well as emotionally, as well as spiritually, when you give her something to learn, when you give her something to look up to, when you feed her in ways that go beyond just the physical. Don't get me wrong, the physical counts too, but it has to be more than that. It has to be an emotional security. It has to be a spiritual security. I have to feed your mind and your soul as well as your body, and that's what I do.
Do you think this is a time in your life, or you think you'll live the rest of your life like this?
I honestly don't know. Because again, this wasn't exactly planned.
Yeah. I
look at it like this. Tomorrow's gone, right? Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah.
All we genuinely have is right now. Think about it. Even to think about what happened yesterday, you got to go up here.
Yeah.
To consider what might happen tomorrow, you got to go up here in your mind, right?
Yeah.
Which means that none of these things are real. They're gone. They're both only exist in your brain.
Okay, and he goes on more and more about that. So, but basically, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. So what he calls so let's talk about polyamory. Polyamory is basically means many loves, right, or a lot of loves, many loves, right? And when people ask me what polyamory is, I'd say that's what it is to me. Many loves. That means you have the ability and the desire to be romantically involved with more than one person, right? Romantically involved with more than one person. So that's what it is, right? All of us, women, men, women, that goes for across the board, right? It's not just for men. It's not just for women. Now, so what he's describing is not polyamory. What he's describing is probably polyfidelity, meaning that they have a closed, though it's supposed to be, they have a semi-closed situation where the women cannot date outside of they can't date outside of the situation, right? They can only be with Neo. If they want to, maybe he says there's an open dialogue. So if they want to be with somebody else, they can talk about it, but chances are it's gonna be no, and they gotta go. If he want to be with somebody, he could be with somebody else. It's up to him, but he's saying he's fine. He ain't gonna do that, but he can. He has the option, right? But they don't have the option. That's called polyfidelity. We also call that OPP, is one penis policy, meaning that there's only, in this situation, there's 3 women and there can only be 1 man. That's it. And if you don't like that, you can leave. All right. So let me talk about the whole situation. So from what I know, and I'm not a Neo fan. I know they get that one song. It's independent. It's not my type of music. But he's good. He sings well. But it's not, like I said, it's not my type of situation. Why am I getting this little pop up now? So I'll look this up. Anyway, so all right, I gotta fix that. So anyway, so yeah, I don't. So let's talk about the whole situation, right? I first heard Neil start talking about this when he was on Horrible Decisions. You know, he's talking about this and that, and then I think right after that he got divorced from his second wife, divorced from his first wife. So the whole story is, from what I can glean, what I've been reading from the very beginning, is that he had, in his first wife introduced him to threesomes, and I guess they blew his mind because he wanted to have threesomes every day. His wife was like, "No, this is a special treat. This isn't something we're supposed to do all the time. It's still me and you. You know, this is like, once a month. It's a special treat. It's not every day." But it kind of blew his mind. So that kind of blew up his first marriage, right? That's the first divorce. Got married again, caught cheating again. So that's so. So if you listen to the whole video, you'll see where he says that some of the things that I say too about basically I'm in a relationship, I get bored, and I think this is all I have for the rest of my life, right? That's somewhat in the way of mine, and it's somewhat related to my situation where it's not about me having to be with one person all the time. It's about being able to expand, or anyway, for me to know more people and to grow with more people, because I believe relationships is growth, right? So if you have feelings that you have to deny and have situations that you just can't get into, you're stunning your growth, as far as I'm concerned. You still could grow. I mean, you could grow one person. Monogamy is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, as long as it feeds you. As long as you're growing in that situation. For me, I think that I don't be growing in that situation. I think it may be this. I don't be growing in that situation. Hold on a second. I'm gonna close this down. I think I have a problem. Sorry about that. So I feel as though if I'm in a situation, I gotta grow, and then whatever I have to do. Because the whole thing about, they say like happy life, happy wife, and all this kind of stuff. And all this, happy wife, happy life, all that kind of stuff. That's not true. I mean, you make yourself happy. You're each of us are responsible for our own happiness. So what we look for in the community is that, like, did you open up your marriage? Did you try to open up your marriage with your first wife? Your second wife? When did you? So basically, you cheated. So this is a solution. This is basically a solution for you cheating. So you have the more the merrier. So in the beginning of the interview, if you look at the whole interview, I want to say that. Look at the whole interview. If you look at the beginning of the interview, he said that he brought this to them, right? He brought them and invited them in. So apparently, he had more than, I guess, one. He was playing. He was a player. So he had more than one woman. He's rich. He had more than one woman, but he decided to. Now he's going to decide to open it up and tell the truth. So he told the truth to them and asked them to come in. But then in the latter part of the latter part of the clip I just played, he said that they came to him with exclusivity. But then in the beginning of it, he says he went to them and told them what it was. So, and then he goes on to say that he's head of house, so it's my rules, right? We don't do rules. There are very few people in ethical monogamy and that I know of that do rules. Rules protect you. They don't protect the other person. The rules are for you to protect yourself because you're afraid of something. You're afraid of insecurity. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with them about them having with them having other men or other women or whatever they want. Outside from relationships. I don't know. I know that. I know that if he doesn't do the work to make himself ready, it's not going to work. To be, cause that's a different thing. You know what I'm saying? When you don't allow, but your mate, your wife, your whatever, decides she wants to date somebody else, or he wants to date somebody else. I'm not buying. He wants to date somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something you have to really get used to. You have to be ready for it. You have to be ready for it when it happens, and that takes work. So I don't think he wants to do that work. Why should he? He's rich. He can afford to carry those 4 women for however long they want to be there. So the main problem with what he's saying is that it's polyamory. That's not polyamory. Polyamory is like an equalizer, or men and women should have the same, men and women should have the same type of. They should be able to move the same way. Let me put it like that. They should be able to move the same way. If they want to meet somebody else, that's fine. If you want to meet somebody else, that's fine. Anything else is not polyamory. Maybe it's, like I said, polyfidelity. I have a problem with that. Always have. Or it's polygamy. But that's marriage or polygyny. That's marriage, and they're not getting married. It's against the law in the United States. So those young women, I don't know who they are. I'm not gonna look them up or anything like that. I know that there's also a power dynamic, right? Meaning that Neo has more money. What does this keep popping up on my thing for? Neo, I'm learning so much about streaming. It's a lot going on. So Neo has more money. He has the money. So basically, there's a power dynamic. So the time that they're spending with him is taken away from their life and their advancement. So in the end, he can only marry one, right? So in the end, with whatever situation they have, they may end up with nothing, right? Because they don't have any. Because he said something about security. That's what he offers them. You're not offering them marriage. You're not offering them anything unless you ran down to the court and wrote up powers of attorney or contracts to make sure they're okay if you die, or if you get crippled, or they get something if you decide to leave them. Then that's when you that's security, and you just being there right now, then and now is thing. So, but that role thing, and then that thing about you gotta go, like it's my way. This is my house. I'm head of household. So that's a big thing. And then in the groups, this is basically what I said though. I think he's toxic. He doesn't mention the fact that he was divorced twice before this. He says that they claim to him and ask him for exclusivity, but earlier he said that he brought it to them. So that's, and you could almost guarantee, I already know that most of the fellas in the group are like, yeah, that's cool. I like that. It's 4 grown adults. They all agreed to it, so it's all good. There's a power dynamic. There's a power dynamic at play. Neo is more money, and he's more known, and of course he's gonna have more influence over what they do or what they say and how they experience it, right? And for him to say I'm head of household, and he's sort of like, I'm head of household, it's my way to the highway. But like I said, I have no knowledge other than that. What I'm saying, from what I'm seeing in that video. Now, I will say this: us being, I'm like in this E&M community for like over 10 years, right? So us seeing that type of thing come and go, like most of the dudes when they first get into E&M, swinging, whatever, it's all about them. Totally selfish. I wrote an essay. It's on Medium about what's the rush. Because basically, when dudes get the permission, or they learn that they can have more women, they're gonna want to get more women as soon as possible. It's just like it's a blinder. That's all they see. Blinders on. All I see is more vagina, right? So that's a problem in the community, because I've seen situations blow up, right? So then if you're in swinging, they have rules, right? They have rules, like same room, soft swap, hard swap, all these type of things. That's in the, like I said, that's in the ethically monogamous community. In the polyamorous community, we more about we have boundaries, right? So we're about protecting ourselves and teaching people how to treat us. In that type of other type of things like swinging, it's rules. Don't break the rules. And we've had to deal with couples and their rules. I've seen people get in arguments and fights at parties over this stuff because they're not doing the work really to allow someone to be and enjoy their experiences, right? That's what it's all about that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're trying to enjoy the experience and have fun, but then a lot of people want to just lock it off because of rules. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Because what we have seen and experienced in these groups, it always blows up, right? It always blows up. Somebody, somebody, because they all we have is his story. All we have is what he's saying. We don't know what they're saying, right? We don't know what they're experiencing. They all seem happy, but you're gonna seem happy. Cassidy seemed happy with Puff, right? So they seem happy. There's an outside facing, there's a reality, and they don't get to talk. I would love to see, like, there's enough non-monogamy platforms that they can go on, and really, they wanted to educate people on what they're doing. They could do that, right? That's easy. They could do that, but I wish they would. So I basically most of the time just ignore. Like I said, I ignore anything on mainstream media as far as ethical non-monogamy, polyamory, because it's not true. It's just not true. It's not true. It's not the what they show you the most is triads, one man, multiple women, and that's really not that. It's really very rare, right? Because it's not hard. It's not easy. It's not easy, and dudes make mistakes all the time. All the time, they pressure their wives into it. Their wives say, "Yeah, I'm going along with it. I'm going along with it for now." And then, like 2 months later, it blows up, and the young lady's crying. The young lady said, and then you got some young lady say, "I will never date a couple again." I will do it because they get abused. They get abused because they don't. Nobody really. Very few of us really know how to have a relationship with two other people because that's not something that we see. So everybody thinks it's gonna be fun and games, and it's cool. It's not. I mean, it's not always. I mean, yeah, it's some fun to be had, but it's also some work that has to be done. So I just hate that that this is the representation of polyamory. That's not polyamory. That's some pimp shit. That's some player shit. That's some pimp shit, player shit. For me, it looked more like they're really like a swinger vibe hanging out. It could be love, but I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I can't get married to 4 people. You can't get married to 4 women. Those 4 women are just basically, like I said, they're not secure. They don't have anything unless there's something we don't know about. Contracts, NDAs, things like that. Certain payouts. But I wish them all happiness if that's what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the perfect relationship like that. If that's cool, if that's a good relationship and everybody's healthy, I support it 100%. But just listening to him talk, say one thing at the beginning, then say another thing at the end, there's some fuckery about. So I'm gonna leave that there. That's exactly how I said in my comments on the post, and that's exactly how a lot of women feel. A lot of women will not do one penis policy. They will not have their freedom taken away from them, and then you get to be free. That's not just, to me. It just doesn't seem fair. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. I don't like anything closed. I don't like to close my closet. Everything should be out in the open, 100%, as much as possible, and I just wish we had better representation of polyamory. Or if this is the polyamorous relationship that he states, I wish he would go on some platforms and just all 4 of them, 5 of them, just talk about it and show how this is possible and everybody's happy. And not because we want to know or I want to hear it. I want this to be mainstream. I want people to know that this is possible. But from what I'm seeing, we don't know the whole story without having them there. He could say anything, and they're not. And I'm saying he has the power, he has the money, right? So he has the money. So would you want to leave the money? I mean, the money's there. And if you ain't got to have sex but once every 2 months, maybe it might be a good deal for you. You got other things to do. So I'm gonna leave that there. More to come, I hope. I don't know. I would love, like I said, I would love it if they would do a sit down on a ethically non-monogamous friendly platform, and they just really talk about it. That conversation that they had is not a good one because all I heard was from him, and then he like I said, he contradicted himself in the conversation to make it seem well. You gotta make it all. You always gotta make it seem like it's golden and pretty. You know what I'm saying? R. Kelly said it was good. P. Diddy said it was good until it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So one thing in this environment, in this climate, if this is you and you want to, hopefully help the community or your community. I've never seen them on any ethically non-monogamous platforms, so we'll see. All right, so that is current events, and I'm gonna talk about real quick. I'm just gonna talk about this. I'm not gonna have to. I think I'm gonna stress this out because I'm not just gonna present it. I'm talking about recovery and plant medicines, and I'm gonna talk about the first, just this one part, and then I'm gonna wrap it up, and then I'm gonna talk about it some more on the Wednesday recap. I should be on schedule, back on schedule next weekend. So here's what I want to say. Here's what I want to say about the plan. Okay, the angle that I'm taking with this is that if you are into recovery, if you're in a program, let's say NAAA, most rehabs, I've been in intensive outpatient rehab. I've been in inpatient rehab, and I'll tell that story one day. It's terrible. The program is abstinence, right? It's abstinence, 100%. You have to. There's from everything. There's abstinence from whatever. If you smoke cigarettes, there's abstinence. At the inpatient rehab, I was saying, and then once you go in a AA, the rule is that you have a desire to get clean, but you don't have to get clean. But you can't. But you have to be abstinent. I've seen many times where people had clean time. Let's say 2 or 3 years, and then they come up and say, you know what? I've been smoking weed all this time. So I don't really feel as though I've been clean. I'm gonna take a new chip and start all over again. This time I'm not gonna smoke weed. But so anything could be an addiction, right? Anything could be addiction. You could be addicted to weed. You could be addicted to mushrooms. You could be addicted to LSD, PCP. What's another one? Oh, I don't think you could be addicted to ayahuasca or ibogaine, DMT. But those are the last two. I just say mushrooms, ayahuasca, ibogaine. I don't know. Those are all been contributed to, or they've been associated with getting people clean, overcoming addiction, right? So, but if you're in those programs, you can't use those things because you'll be put out. So to me, it's a rule. This is just a hard rule. Because if you come in and say, yeah, I'm blah 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 days clean, blah blah blah, I've been smoking weed every day, they're gonna tell you you're not clean, right? You're not, but maybe you aren't doing the things you used to do. Maybe you aren't stealing money, you aren't living on the street, you aren't doing this and that. But you know what I'm saying, you have an anxiety problem or something like that. They'll tell you you're not clean, you're not doing the program right, and you got to do the program right. That's why I can't go. I already told you I can't do rules. I could do rules for money. You want to pay me, I could do some rules. But other than that, I can't. It's hard for me to do rules. So I do boundaries. And boundaries can be pushed. Rules can be broken. But once the rules broken, who is it protecting? You or the program? I think they're protecting the program because it's a program of abstinence, which I agree with. If you, like I said, I'm totally not elevated right now. I'm not doing anything. I think I'm gonna continue this for this 90 days. So when I get to whatever dot 90, then I'll see what I'm gonna do then. But I have a real serious anxiety problem. I mean, serious. This is the first. I'm feeling comfortable right now. On the mic, I haven't gotten nervous at all. Except for this pop-up I keep getting. It's kind of strange. I think I got a content warning. I think I shouldn't have put that video, the other video from 105, into my video. So that might be a problem. I have to cut that out. But I get real anxious. On my interviews, I get anxious. I've been doing IT forever. I still get anxious on interviews. I was on the technical screening team for new hires at Amazon. So I know how to do interviews. All right. I used to be on panel interviews at my job. I know the whole thing. The questions they're going to ask you, all that stuff. I still get nervous. And sometimes I get nervous to the point where I can't leave my room. Because I don't want to see anyone, especially if I'm not doing the right thing. I would definitely get nervous. I'll sit in the corner and be scared. Not scared, just nervous. Anxiety will lock me down. But if I'm smoking a little weed, a little edible, a little weed, I'm not really that nervous. I'm like, I'm the same person, really, just a little bit more sillier, right? And I don't have the knot in my stomach. I don't have the fear or worrying about saying certain words. Now, I'm saying that to say, I'm tying that back to the other thing, which you know your truth, right? So, and you don't want to lie. Like I don't want to lie about nothing I'm doing going forward. Period. That's it. I got another clip I want to play too, about addiction, because a lot of times we believe that a lot of people believe that the cure for addiction is just don't use anymore. Actually, the cure for addiction is community, it's connections, because that's what you break. Remember, I don't know if you remember, I was talking about a lot of people who are on the street right now doing this stuff. They claim to be homeless. They're not homeless. They just don't want to go home, and they don't want to do what they have to do to go home, because they've damaged those relationships. They know that they're gonna have to eat some shit to go back home. They gotta deal with their people, and they don't want to do that because they've been living wild on the street, for a long time. So they have to entirely give up that life, you know what I'm saying, on the street, and then conform to whatever household rules they're going into, because you have to be, you've been on the street for years, you ain't got nothing, so you got to really rely on other people, and that's something they don't want to do, because they know when they go on the street, they're going to do whatever they got to do to hustle to get death in a pipe. So the problem is that, not the problem, but what it is that we don't see that as the cure. Connections, love, community. That's what NA is supposed to be, and I've tried it many times. I don't know why I don't relate with those people. I don't know why I've had many sponsors over the years, different ones. I've tried different ones, but I just don't. If somebody tells me, okay, so basically the program is right. You get a sponsor. The sponsor going to help you through the steps. Then the sponsor is going to say, call me every night. And if you remember one of my boundaries is don't call me. Just text me first. So I don't want to call you every night. And I say that's mean you're not willing to change. And I don't, maybe I'm not willing to change. I don't know. At this point, I know that I'm not going to, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know a lot of stuff. So I say, I want to help people in this situation, but I don't know. All I know is be true to who you are. Know your truth. Live your truth. That's what I know. So if I could go, and I don't, a lot of times people are sharing, they're sharing about the politics of the groups and all this kind of stuff. I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get some recovery time. I'm trying to get my life together. These are the things I'm doing, right? I'm not looking for, a friend. And most of the time in NAAA, I'm not knocking the program. Please go to the program. It can help you. You know what I'm saying? Keep coming back. It works if you work it. It's true. I've had good clean time in those groups. But I've never made friends in those groups. Never made friends. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I have one, Gary, I know him. He's my sponsor back then. But I don't know. I never really, my clean time never attributed to them and that program. It's attributed to me doing the work on myself. You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm going to say? Change I must, or die I will. See, that's real life right there. So the work is, I'm doing the work that I need to do to stay clean. And can I attribute it to my sponsor, NAAA? Nah, I can't. Other than they were there in that part of my life. So what I'm saying is right now, it's important to know your truth. It's important that you know your truth. Like I'm gonna go back to that all the time. It's important to know your truth, know what you're doing, and then once you do, commit to the plan and follow the plan. I don't care what it is. If something is helping you, and it's not hurting you, right? That's on you. If you go to NAA, right, and then you have to lie about it, you're not gonna get better because you're lying. Basically, you have to be truthful. The one thing I know about, I'm gonna play this clip. The one thing I know about radical honesty, right? That's what they say. You have to be radical, just like honest about everything. And it's easy for me to be. It's easy for me to be honest about everything if I don't have an anxiety issue. And that 420 is one thing that helps me with anxiety. And I will talk my shit. I'm gonna play this clip. There's a lot of I'm gonna play a lot of clips from like TED Talk for the recovery because there's a lot of TED Talks on recovery, and I think I've seen this before. There's another one that I want to get about this radical honesty because this guy's like another guy's like be honest and let go of the consequences. Don't worry about the consequences because basically, if you're being honest, the consequences you're gonna probably face some bad consequences. But you know what? You're gonna be truthful and you're gonna be true to yourself, and then you're gonna meet up with people that accept you for who you are. All right, let me play this clip, and then I think I'm gonna wrap it up. 1 second, and I'm gonna talk about what we're gonna talk about next week. So I'm gonna play this clip, and then I'm coming back to close this out.
Deal with the addicts in our life is typified by, I think, by the reality show Intervention. If you guys haven't seen it, I think everything in our lives is typified by reality TV, but that's another TED Talk. If you've never seen the show Intervention, it's a pretty simple premise. You get an addict, all the people in their life, gather them together and say, if you don't shape up, confront them with what they're doing, and they say, if you don't shape up, we're going to cut you off, right? So what they do is they take the connection to the addict and they threaten it. They make it contingent on the addict behaving the way they want. And I began to see why that approach doesn't work. And I began to think that almost that's like the importing of the logic of the drug war into our private lives. So I was thinking, well, how can I be Portuguese, right? And what I try to do now, and I can't tell you I do it consistently, and I can't tell you it's easy, is to say to the addicts in my life that I want to deepen the connection with them, to say to them, I love you, whether you're using or you're not. I love you, whatever state you're in, and if you need me, I'll come and sit with you because I love you and I don't want you to be alone or to feel alone. And I think the core of that message, you're not alone, we love you, has to be at every level of how we respond to addicts, socially, politically, and individually. For 100 years now, we've been singing war songs about addicts. I think all along we should have been singing love songs to them because the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna say one thing. Portuguese. We talk about be like Portuguese or Portugal. Portugal. All drugs are legal in Portugal. Basically, all drugs are free, and you can get help when you need it. So that's how they handle their drug problem. Just to legalize everything and just basically, and if you need help, it's not a crime. Go get help. They'll give you help. So I think Portugal is probably a smaller country than the United States, and it's probably an older country. So we'll probably never get there. We can't get past this. We can't get past this. So we'll never get there. We can't get past racism. So we'll never get there. So that was a good message. I think that's a true message. A lot of times I know in my life, during certain times when I'm dealing with bad addiction, it gets very lonely. So is it because you have to? My life is at times I've been surrounded by drug addicts. I don't like drug addicts. The funny thing, I'm gonna say one thing. The funniest thing about this, my ex-wife, Hattie used to ask me like, "What would you do if you know what I'm saying, if you had somebody in your life that was like you?" And I would say, "I don't know." Right? I was at the time, I would say, "I don't know," but really, I sat around and think about it. I would leave. I wouldn't stay unless you know what I'm saying. I would definitely try to love them as much as possible. And nurture them back. I think now that was back then. Now you can't stay with an active addict. That's the thing about it. If somebody's trying to be free or trying to get over it, I'll be there for them, and I definitely will contact them. Now, other people I know that's out on the street now, I won't contact them at all because they're still trying to use, and they're still using. And I know one thing they'll do is try to get me to use too. So that's a no. But anybody else I know, like family members that are going through some things, you know, I'm here for you always will be. Just gotta reach out. That's one thing you have to do. That's your responsibility to reach out. But it's also my responsibility to tell anybody in my life that's suffering. I do love you, and I want you to be better, and you can be better. You could walk with me. Come on this podcast. We could talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's freedom. Like they say, we do recover, right? There's freedom. You just gotta want it. I think it's more than just gotta want it though. You gotta want your life back. You gotta want your connections back. I have so many relationships, and I can't talk about this too long because I get emotional. I have some relationships that I want to restore that I don't. Oh shit. That I don't have in my life. that I want in my life, and that I won't. I won't even reach out now. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna reach out later. Once I get some clean time, I know. After 90 days, I'll probably reach out. Maybe before. I don't know. So yeah, don't follow me. If you have a problem recovering, don't follow me. But if you see me here, like I said, 2 times a week, follow me. Other than that, if I disappear, don't, because you know where I'm at. So I'm gonna wrap it up there. I don't know. When's Easter? I don't celebrate Easter. Oh, birthday's next weekend. I'm going to Fogo de Chao. Family's taking me to Fogo de Chao. I love Fogo de Chao. I'll be 59. I don't feel like I'm 59, but I will be 59. And I'm a senior citizen. That's interesting. So I hope you got something out of that. I hope I don't have to cut that section out of my video. If I do, I do. So I hope you got something out of that. Basically, everything you see on TV talking about polyamory is not polyamory. You know what I'm saying? It's a big debate always in our community. A lot of people won't even use the word polyamory. They use the word poly. Say everybody poly different. What the fuck is poly? I don't know what that is. We do polyamory. Poly is just many or much, something like that. Yeah, I don't know what that is, and I definitely will always speak up about the fuck shit, because it's out there. It's a lot out there. As far as you're concerned, if you come in this community, you want to try it out. You think it's for you? Don't do it. It's not for you. It's not something that you try. You know what I'm saying? Look in your life and see when you were happy and when you weren't happy. This is not. It's harder. Let me say that it's harder than just monogamy, and for some reason you can't convince people of that because they think we just don't want commitment. No, it's a lot of commitment in E&M. There's more commitment and there's more honesty and there's more conversations, but there also still is more fuck shit too, right? So, you know, what I'm gonna say? Be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. All right, thanks a lot for listening to me rant. I'm glad I got these 2 shows done. I guess I'll see you back here next Wednesday, and then we'll talk about. I'm gonna expand some more on that, right? I definitely didn't talk about what type of plant medicine I'm talking about. We know I'm talking about cannabis. But there's other ones too. That could really. I think I did. Yeah, I may talk about it some more. I may not. Basically, what I'm saying is, do what's right for you. You know what I'm saying? If you need to smoke some weed, right? I will never say drink, because drinking is a whole other thing. But weed, I don't really see weed as being harmful. If done in moderation, I don't care what's going on in life. they what's going on in life? You know what I'm saying? They hid it from me. They trying to hide it from us. So obviously it has some good though. You know. So don't let people tell you what your truth is. You tell them what your truth is. You tell them what your truth is, and you live that out. That's my advice. All right, I'm out. I think I'm going to hit a button. I hope I hit the right one. I think it's this one. I don't think it's that one, though. I think it's this one.
All right, people, we out. Choose love every time, and things will work out. All right, peace.
Peace. Love you.